guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the week preceding November, what is it, 28th? I was thinking like it's Thanksgiving is on Thursday. So I'm actually filming this the week of Thanksgiving earlier, right before Thanksgiving, and I'm dropping stuff everywhere, excuse me, and I have a kitten roaming around. Yeah, if he comes close enough, maybe I'll hold him up. I got a whole bunch of books from the library again this week. I am really enjoying being able to go back to the library, so I have been hitting the library pretty hard. I did get one book from Kindle Unlimited, so I'll talk about that first, and then I'll go into all of the library books. There's like this giant stack of them here. It's a hard time of year for me because everybody's releasing like their best of lists, and I always look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should read that, and I should read that, and I should read that. So sometimes I'm maybe a little bit over enthusiastic about all the books I get, and then I have to return some without reading them. But all right, the first one I got from Kindle Unlimited is Peppermint Pentacles by Melanie Karsak. This is the third book in the Steampunk Red Riding Hood series. These are very short books. They're more novella in length. They're usually between 150 and 200 pages. They really only take an hour or two to read. This one is kind of a Christmas themed one, so it's a perfect time of year to be reading this. And I have been enjoying them. I'm a little disappointed because these books could be like really, really fantastic, and they're good, but they aren't quite fantastic. And it's one of those things, they're just so close to being absolutely fantastic that it bothers me a little bit. You know, if the world building was just a little tighter and the characters were just a little bit more consistent and, you know, the background was laid out a little bit better, this would just be absolutely fantastic. But there's a lot in here that I really like, and I'm going to be honest and say there aren't a lot of steampunk options out there. I've read most of them at this point. Maybe not most of them, but a lot of them. So very excited to read this, and I'll continue on with that series because I think there's 6 books in it, and that's a third, so, you know, just keep going on. All right, getting into the library books, I had mentioned that I was looking for kind of quirkier reads, novellas, stuff like that, so there are a few more novellas in here. Again, I go through them very, very quickly, but some of these are ones that are just supposed to be kind of the most interesting or best, like, fantasy science fiction of 2020 thus far. And the first one of those is not exactly a fantasy, but it kind of is. And that's Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawai Strong Washburn. So I guess I'm getting rejected. The cat just left. We have a little cat door installed in the wall. He just decided, no, I'm out of here. I don't want to hear about your stupid books. Anyways, this one is kind of an interesting one. It's a story of a boy who was saved by a herd of sharks. Like, he fell off a boat and sharks came and they thought they were going to kill him, but instead he was saved. And the whole family thought that was like the blessing of the gods on the family and that they were going to have a good time or something. And as the family split up and did various things, this has kind of long-lasting impact on the whole family. And that's what I know about this one. It's supposed to be a pretty interesting read, so I'm excited to read. It just sounds kind of different. And I'm kind of really just wanting to read stuff that's a little bit different at this point. The second one I got is one that was recommended by a YouTuber as a really good standalone fantasy. And it's one that I had been wanting to read for quite some time, and I'm not sure how I just never got to it. And that is And Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. I've heard a lot of really good things about this book. I'm not sure why I never ended up picking it up, but it's supposed to be an excellent standalone fantasy, so I will give that a shot. All right. The next one I got was another recommendation, and I'm just so awful. I really need to start remembering to record where I read these things. It was a recommendation of like a quirky science fiction novel that was released in the second half of 2020. And it just sounded completely up my alley. I had never heard of it before, but it's A Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. It's supposed to be like fantasy horror, and it's supposed to be about a brother and a sister that live in this house where monsters are real and like cross over into our realm. That is all I know about. It's a lot of H.P. Lovecraft mythos, which I always get into and always really enjoy. So I don't know, like, I don't read a lot of flat out horror, and I think this is supposed to be more horror than fantasy, but it's got kind of that Lovecraft mythos going on, which I always find fascinating. So That sounds so interesting. I'm really looking forward to read it. All right, and then the last full-length book that I got from the library is an urban fantasy, and that is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I have not read this yet. I am a big N.K. Jemisin fan, so I'm really looking forward to it. I've read a lot of her more like fantasy-ish stuff, and she's just an amazing, like, epic world builder. So very excited to read an urban fantasy from her. Yeah, so looking forward to that. And I mean, some of these are kind of long books, so hopefully I'll be able to read them all in the next few weeks. Probably I will. I don't have a lot else on my list right now, so. All right, then I did get 2 novellas as well that I've been wanting to read for quite a while. The first one is The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Daivo. I don't know if I said that right. Daivo. Yes, she's got a couple novellas out there. This is what I've been wanting to read for quite a while. You know, should be a nice little read. I'm almost over my need to read novellas. I don't know, I just got in kind of this funk where I just wanted to read shorter books and stories. So that's kind of where that came from. The second novel I got that I'm super excited to read, because I did just finish reading A Dead Djinn in Cairo last night, and I really, really liked it, is the second book in that novella series, which is The Haunting of Tramcar 15 or 015, whichever you would say. And I'm not going to say this name right, but I'll try. P. Jelly Clark. Anyways, I loved A Dead Djinn in Cairo. I loved the setting. The main character was fun. It's a lot of action. It was just so much fun. So really looking forward to reading this one. There is going to be a third novella in this series coming out, I believe, either the end of this year or early next year. So super excited about that. Yeah, just a lot of fun. And then the last 2 will be no surprise if you watched my Stacking the Shelves the last few weeks. I got East of West Volume 6 and then East of West Volume 7 from my library. So I am reading this, planning to read the series. I know all 10 volumes are out, so it's very nice. And my library has them all, so very easy to get them. My son, who is 13, has been reading these as well, although I just finished Volume 5, which has quite a bit of nudity in it, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They are rated teen plus, so I figured, you know, he wanted to read a new graphic novel series, and it's a little borderline, but I keep telling him, you come and talk to me if there's anything you want to know about or talk about or whatever. So that is what I got for this week. I'm guessing I'll be stopping by the library again tomorrow to pick up some more books. I am trying to finish my graphic reading / manga reading challenge. I can't believe I just said manga reading challenge for this year. So I do have some more manga coming. I had mentioned in my last video, I was having a really hard time getting graphic novels and manga because I almost always get them from my library because they're kind of expensive to buy. And I wasn't going to the library for most of this year. So I'm just very excited to be able to go back to the library. So if I'm counting them up here, I believe it's 8 books from the library, the full-length ones, and then the 2 novellas and graphic novels, and then 1 for Kindle Unlimited, which will not take me very long to read. I know people are probably like, oh my God, I thought you were trying to, you know, whittle down that to-be-read pile. And realistically, like, this one's going to take me maybe an hour or 2 to read, and these 4 combined will probably take me 2 hours to read. So it's not as much reading as it looks like. Yeah, aside from that, I don't know that I have a whole lot to say. When this posts, Thanksgiving will have just passed. So I hope that you guys had a great Thanksgiving and stayed safe and healthy. I know this year we are not planning on doing much. We're planning on doing video calls with like my parents and my husband's parents, and then with some friends and with my sister. We talked about actually putting a tripod up and doing like a video Thanksgiving dinner. You know, we do what we can. We are still awaiting test results from COVID testing because my son did find out that one of the kids on his hockey team, of course, the last night he had hockey, found out they had COVID. So we did go ahead and get tested this last weekend, and we're awaiting those results. It does take, I think that's the biggest bummer about this whole thing is like the chain of events, right? So this kid found out that he had contact with the kid who was COVID positive, like I don't know, on Tuesday night. And so he didn't go to any more practices, but then he found out Friday he had COVID, and then he told the team. And so then the team who had exposure to him Tuesday night had to wait till they had like 5 days after exposure to get tested. And then, it takes 3 to 4 days to get your results. So by the time we get results, it will have been over a week since my son had been exposed to it, almost 2 weeks. Anyways, it's a mess, and we are trying to be good. We're not really going anywhere, except for I obviously did stop by the library, but the library is very touchless in our area. Like, you drop the books in the drop thing outside, and then they have the books on a shelf right in the door where you just pick them up. You put them on the little checkout thing, and it checks them out. So no really contact with anybody there. So yeah, that's all I got, I guess. I don't know. We're having rain right now. We had snow this morning and now rain. It's been very typical for once November weather, kind of in the 30s, 40s. So no more weird, like almost 90-degree days in the middle of our beginning of winter. Everybody is home now in my household, so my husband always works from home. My son is home full time. There is no hockey, and I am working from home this week too. Hopefully I'll be able to go into the lab again next week. So I've been cleared for that through my work. So all right, at this point I'm kind of just babbling, so I will let you guys go. I hope you got a lot of great books to read and have a great week of reading ahead of you. I will talk to you next week. Bye.